the summer of 1985, a quiet village in County Cork became the centre of a national phenomenon. People claimed the statue of the Virgin Mary was moving, swaying gently, even glowing or crying. Within weeks, similar sightings were reported across Ireland. Crowds of thousands gathered in rural parishes, hoping to witness a miracle. But what really happened? Were Ireland's moving statues a sign from God, or were they something stranger, a glimpse into how human minds work, especially in groups, creating powerful shared realities? This all began in Ballinspittle, a small village in County Cork. A group of locals visited a roadside grotto and said that they saw the Virgin Mary statue move. At first it was subtle, a gentle swaying, almost like it was breathing. Then people began to claim that it glowed. Some said it cried, others said that her face changed completely. The word spread fast, travelling all around the county. Soon, crowds in the thousands were arriving nightly to pray, watch and wait. Some claimed that they saw the movement too. Others felt awe, peace, even ecstasy. Media showed up, priests weighed in, and more reports started to come from other towns. The movement became a wave. It felt all across the country, showing up in different parishes where different people would turn out in the thousands to look at their local statue. But why? But why did this happen then, and why did it happen there? Because in 1985, Ireland was quietly unravelling. High unemployment, young people leaving the country, and the Catholic Church was slowly losing its grip on the population. In rural places such as Ballinspittle, old traditions were fading, jobs were vanishing, and the world was changing, and not for the better. But the Virgin Mary represented hope, comfort, purity, and for a lot of people a return to something solid and sacred. So when someone said, "I saw her move," it resonated and it spread. So what actually caused so many people to see the same thing? According to psychologists, a few factors are likely at play: expectancy, suggestion, and conformity. If everyone around you gasps and points and prays, it's not hard to see something too. Also, the media done its part to amplify the situation. Local papers and national TV didn't question it, they broadcast it. It gave it legitimacy among the crowds. Group psychology is likely at play here. Humans are social creatures, and in times of stress, we look towards each other for cues, and sometimes we find meaning in the same illusion. In other words, it felt real because the experience was real, not in the physical sense, but in the psychological and emotional one. In one sense, this was not an isolated event. There has been other times in European history, in different countries outside of Ireland, where similar things have happened. In Strasbourg, 1518, a woman named Frau Troffa began dancing in the street. She kept dancing for days, and within a week dozens joined her, then hundreds. They couldn't stop. Some danced until they collapsed and died. The authorities tried to play music, hoping to dance it out. It didn't help, and eventually they were carted off to a shrine in the mountains and the outbreak ended. But this was not a one-off event. Similar episodes happened in Aachen in 1374, Madagascar in the 1840s, and southern Italy. There are many theories about what may have caused these dancing plagues in Europe and elsewhere. Many people point to ergo poisoning, which is a fungus that acts like LSD in the human system. This can cause mass psychogenic illness, or what may be perceived as mass hysteria. In small European communities that depend on barley and wheat, Argo can wreak havoc on these crops and can infect a mass number of the population if it gets into the food system. We can look at both of these situations in a similar lens. Both Ireland and Europe, in these separate time periods, were repressive, anxious societies, and in Dancing Plagues, their trauma and fear came out through movement. In Cork, it came out through vision. There are certainly similar elements at play, from social triggers and economic stress to other things, but a lot of the effects are the same. Many of the participants in both cases were rural women, elderly women, and children. This led to visual illusions, involuntary movement, and belief in the divine. However, at the time, in both of these different places, people put different cultural frames on what they were seeing. As I mentioned before, this phenomenon spread all over Ireland. In Asdee, County Kerry, a similar case unfolded just after Ballinspittle, where 36 children said they saw the statue of the Sacred Heart and the Virgin Mary move, her eyes and her hands. Locals lit candles, recited rosaries, and the priest kept an open mind and informed his superiors. But this pattern repeated, belief created reality, and it spread all over the country. What is fascinating is that in these events, they don't just show us how people respond to the unknown, but they show us how deeply that culture shapes our perception. In medieval France, you danced. In 1980s Ireland, you saw Mary. In both cases, people genuinely experienced something powerful, and that's what makes them important.